So you know the ones where you're listening to a song that you really like and you're like, that's my tune.
That's my tune.
Hey, this is Jojo B and this is the 5th episode of That's My Tune. Happy number 5. Hi. So last week we were vibing to some R&B, Brandy Sin Up in My Room. But this week on a completely different genre, we are going to be vibing to some soca. Hey. I am going to be in conversation with the lovely Miss Desire talking about her song Doing Me. Now, usually I'll say to you, sit back and relax and enjoy a song, but this one is not the relaxing kind. So get up, grab a flag or two, wind your waist, and after the song has been done, I'll be talking to Miss Desire, getting to know more about her song and herself as an artist and a lot more. So get up, enjoy yourselves. You deserve it. I'll be back. So people, I would like to introduce you to the soca artist herself, Miss Desire. Give her a round of applause, everybody. Yay!
Hey.
How are you doing?
I am good. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm great.
Good.
So, yeah, soca artist. You're the first soca artist on the podcast, and I'm happy about that.
Ooh, I'm honored.
Yes, indeed, you should be. So what island are you from? Well, I know, but let the people know where you're repping.
So I
Yeah.
rep the lovely island of Barbados, blue, yellow, and black. Put it up.
Yay! Yay! Barbados, lovely. I'd love to go to. In fact, I would love to do a nice tour of a couple of islands. I want to go Barbados, Jamaica, Trinidad, Grenada. There are quite a few I want to hit. Obviously, once this whole COVID nonsense.
Oh, I didn't know you haven't been to Barbados. Oh my God. Next time I go, I'm
No,
gonna take you.
I
I thought you've
haven't.
been. Oh my
No, I
God. You're
have
missing
not.
out.
I know, it's not fair. But since you're in my life, yeah, we can go next time, innit?
Yes. Next year, 2021 pending.
Yay. All right, so I was going through your catalog. So initially I wanted to talk about your song Anything You Want, which is a nice cool groove, but then I was going through your other work and I discovered Doing Me, and I was like, this is actually everyone like jumping up and down in my room. I was like, yeah, get a few flags and just
Oh my God.
So I thought I'm gonna go with this one instead. So tell me,
Cool.
what got you into writing that song?
Doing Me actually was a collab writing by myself and Shaft.
Okay.
Shaft, y'all, I don't know if everybody knows who Shaft. Shaft is like one of the best writers in soca. He's written for Marshall, Destra,
Nice.
Patrice, Kerr, like anyone who's anyone, Shaft has written for.
Nice.
So when I was initially trying to get onto this track, I had met with Shaft. Well, he actually reached out to me and he was like, oh, I seen what you've been doing and it'd be cool to collab on something. And that was the collab project that came out.
Wow. So someone as big as him to reach out to you, you must have felt honored.
Oh my God. When I got the message on Instagram, I thought it was a joke.
Yeah.
When you had to I had to click, I had to read. I was like, wait. I had to go on the profile. I was like, is this a scam? Is this like a person who's pretending to be him?
Yeah.
But no, it was like really him. And it was off of the back of Miami. I had gone to Miami Carnival and I had 2 big shows that year. I'd done Girl Power and I had done like another show. So he had just seen me just like in and around, and I had seen him before previously, like met him before previously, like in Trinidad and different places around. And I guess just off of the back of the little hype that we had going on, he reached out and he was like, yeah, because he's really into like bringing out newer artists. So he writes for the greats, obviously, but then he also like likes to give back, I guess, to the smaller ones and the ones that hadn't really broken through yet.
Right.
So that's how that really came about.
Oh, wow. That is really amazing. See, I appreciate producers like that who don't just focus on the big people. They like to give back and help the smaller ones come up as well. Because there's some producers who just focus on the bigger acts like, no, I'm up here now. I'm not going to help anybody else.
Exactly.
So shout out to him. So you mentioned that you were at Miami Carnival, and I've noticed that you have traveled around a bit. So what other carnivals have you performed at, other countries? Let me know more about that.
Oh God, I feel like I've been everywhere. So like Caribbean, I've done the normal denominators. So I've done Trinidad, I've done Barbados,
Okay.
I've done Miami Carnival, Labor Day, I've
Wow.
done like all the UK stuff. So up and down the UK, I've done Switzerland, I've done Berlin. I
Wow.
feel like I've just done so many. Yeah.
That's amazing. So, like, how long have you been an artist for? And like, do you manage yourself? Do you have management?
So I started professionally singing soca in 2008.
Right.
And I'm kind of partly self-managed because I'm managed by my own media house, Design Aspire.
Okay.
So I also like have there's team members that are a part of that, but like we kind of self-manage, if that makes sense. So I run the
Okay.
company, but
Yeah.
I also have like another girl on there, Julia, who also like helps and manages my bookings. But a
Okay.
lot of the creative stuff,
Yeah.
it comes from me directly, and then a lot of if it's more about bookings and negotiating money, etc., Julia will deal with that because I believe
Yeah.
artists shouldn't directly deal with money.
Yeah.
Um, Even if it is down to like friends or whatever,
Yeah.
I just don't think that artists should deal with directly with money. So
Yeah.
I kind of like self-manage myself.
Mm.
And it's all just about networking. I think my networks is quite good.
Mm.
I think that's just down to traveling, meeting new people, reaching
Yeah.
out. So in that sense, it's quite easy for me to like infiltrate markets that I want to be in. And then
Mm.
also like working with great producers, like worked with Shaft, who I just said.
Yeah.
But then I've also like worked with Peter Coppin, Masterpiece
Hmm.
Entertainment out of Barbados. I've worked with Precision
Right.
out of Trinidad and Tobago. So
Nice.
I've worked with a load of people. So I have a lot of networks to be like, hey guys, what's going on?
Wow. I
So
love
yeah.
that. Who is the soca artist you'd like to sing or collab with the most? If there's one that you could pick, who would you choose?
Kes. I always
Kes.
say it. Like I would
Kes.
love to work with Kes. I
Kes
love
is dope.
Kes's voice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love his
Yeah.
voice, love
Hmm.
his melodies.
Yeah.
I've had the pleasure of opening for him twice. So when he brought Tuesday on the Rocks here to London, my
Hmm.
band and I opened for him there. And then
Okay.
we done a show up in Germany. It was
Yeah,
like
that
a
was last year,
festival, and
isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
so we opened for him there too.
Hmm.
So I've had the pleasure of like meeting him, and we always discuss like working, but it's a timing thing. But I
Yeah.
believe, when God is ready for it to happen, it will align and it will happen.
Yeah.
But definitely Kes, like he is
Yeah.
on my top list to work with.
Yeah. I love Kes as well. I really do. Like
Mm,
his tune Falling,
yeah.
Savannah Grass,
Yep.
all the songs that I mentioned. And you know when he cut off the dreads and then he came with the short hair.
I know,
I was like,
right?
oh my, I was like, yes, yes, Kes, yes, come through,
Yes.
man. Yeah, no, Kes, he's an amazing performer because I follow him as well on social media, and I've watched like the way he performs. He's so energetic. He puts a lot into what he
Yeah.
does, and even the live album he dropped earlier on this year as well.
Yeah.
I
That
was
was
like,
fire.
yes, yes, yes,
That was fire. I
yeah,
mean, his live performances, like, is not like watching him
mm,
online is
yeah,
nothing compared to live. Like
yeah,
live, he is so like probably hands down one of my best. My best.
mm,
Like I know people can be like, "Oh, Marshall's this and Marshall or
yeah,
this person or that," but I know
yeah,
people will come for me.
right,
But where I'm a singer first and foremost, and
yeah,
Kes can sing, like he
yeah,
can hold his own when it
yes,
comes to live performances.
yes. I agree. I definitely agree. So back to doing me. So,
Mhm.
who produced the track?
Oh, so that was produced actually from Hardware out of Barbados.
Okay.
Um, Producer Hardware. He produced it, and then we had some live elements. So we had Marshall's drummer do the drum licks
Okay.
in there, and we had some keys people out of Marshall. It was predominantly a lot of Marshall's band
Right.
members that we had do some of the live elements because
Right.
initially I wanted to work with Red Boys.
Mm-hmm.
But I was a bit too late.
Mm.
Because I don't know if people know, but like when you're going into producing and especially how the soca industry falls into seasons,
Yeah.
you have to kind of catch the producers before
A particular time.
before they
Yeah.
cut off their quota. So when I had approached Red Boys, they were
Mm.
initially fully booked.
Mm.
So I had gone to Hardware, and I'm used to working with Hardware because he was actually part of the first band I was with
Mm-hmm.
in Barbados.
Okay.
But when I explained to him and I was like, this is the vibe, because obviously up until then, all me and Sharp had was an acapella.
Mm.
So I had the acapella, I sang it to him and I was explaining that I want it to sound like as much as live as we can.
Yes.
So we, yeah. I went to him and we
Mhm.
sorted it out, and that was that.
That's great. Yeah, because when you do listen to it, you automatically think of a live setting. Like I could imagine it in effect. I could imagine it being performed live and everybody just jumping up and down. That's all I could envision. I was like, yeah, yeah, it definitely brings that vibe.
Yeah.
But also, apart from singing, you also have your own mass band, isn't it?
Yeah. So girl, I feel like I be busy. So apart from singing, obviously
Yeah,
I spoke already. I had Design Aspire, which
yeah.
is an award-winning Caribbean marketing and PR agency.
Right. Okay.
2020, we are actually receiving a second award this year
That's
for Best
amazing.
Caribbean marketing and PR agency within the
Mhm.
UK. So
Yeah.
I run that and I self-manage myself. And then we
Mhm.
also have people on there like Puffy
Mm.
and DJ Pauly. So
Right.
that's that. And then I have
Mhm.
my own section for Notting Hill Carnival Infinite Mass.
Yeah.
This year would have been 6 years. So I also like run that. I
Yeah.
design the costumes, I make
Yeah.
the costumes.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's just a never-ending work thing for me.
Wow. So where did you get this work ethic from, wanting to be an artist and then getting into having a mass band? Like, how did that all come about?
Well, I've always been singing. So like I've been singing since I was 6. But when I
Mhm.
started singing, I was singing like the normal common denominators, gospel,
Right.
R&B, that kind
Uh-huh.
of stuff.
Yeah.
And then I kind of like fell into doing the soca stuff.
Mhm.
But since then, like since I was small, like I always knew I wanted to do something creative.
Mm.
And the UK is very corporate. Like a lot
Mm.
of the jobs is very corporate. If you don't catch yourself, you find yourself working in, government and
Yeah.
this, that, and the other. It's very
Right.
corporate. So
Yeah.
I always was trying to find like the creative avenues.
Yes.
And being in the UK, a lot of our creative avenues
Mm.
don't really touch upon the Caribbean,
Yeah.
because that's just not what we are. I mean, even with music, the UK music is predominantly pop and rock. That is like
Yeah.
our first and foremost. So
Mm.
it was more about creating it for
Mm.
myself.
Okay.
Um, so when it came to the Design Aspire, that was literally born because I there was no media houses that could
Mm.
represent me as a brand.
Right.
And that's what kind of triggered my, oh, okay, well, if there's nobody here doing it, let me fill in the gap and do it for myself.
Okay.
And then with Infinite Mass, I was actually on another committee, Bajan Revelers.
Okay.
So they was like a Nottingham Carnival band previously, and I was
Mhm.
on their committee.
Mhm.
And then when they stopped and dissolved as a committee, I was kind of like, oh, I don't want to stop doing mass.
Aw.
And then I just decided to kind of go at it on my own. But by that time, I had already been with Baden Rivers for like 4 years. I already
Right.
had like the
The
basis of the
experience.
knowledge. Yeah, I
Yeah.
knew exactly how it was, what worked, what
Mm.
didn't work. The only thing I didn't have actually was making costumes from scratch,
Okay.
but I wasn't too scared because obviously performing, I couldn't go to stores and buy clothes that I want. So I
Mm.
always used to find myself like getting pieces, but like
Yeah.
changing it up. I might like,
Okay.
cut stuff up or stick stuff on or do
Mm.
stuff like that. So when it came to creating costumes, it wasn't like too much of a far reach, if that makes sense.
Okay. Right.
So yeah.
Wow. Wow, because like I follow you on social media and stuff like that, and I see you doing what you do, but I didn't realize the depth of it. And this is why I love doing stuff like this, because there's only so much social media can show you, or even if you see someone
Mm,
perform live, there's only so much that can show. But when you have these kind of conversations, it's like you really get to know and understand the person and their mind, how it works and
yeah.
stuff like that. I'm really proud of you. Wow.
Oh, thank you so much. I mean, you know what it is that when you I don't think people realize like the stuff that I do. And
Yeah.
sometimes like when people reach out and they're like, "Oh, can you do this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." And then I forget and they'll be like, "What the hell was she doing?" I'm like, "Oh my God, it's not that I forgot, it's like literally because I had to do XYZ."
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
like I have people don't understand that I have so many things. So obviously I sing, I'm running the marketing and PR agency,
Hmm.
and I also have Infinite Mass, but I also work a 9 to 5.
Five.
Like
Yeah.
I'm a marketing manager, and that is my 9 to 5. So I have to try and fit all of these things in within
Mm.
a 24-hour period. So
Yeah. So how
it's
do you
like,
how do you stop yourself from burning out and not spreading out too thinly?
I kind of just set time, and
Right.
I kind of listen to my body. Like
Mm.
there's some days that I wake up and I'm like, I know I have XYZ to do, but
Yeah.
if my body's like nope, I'm like,
Mm.
well, it's a nope, and it
Hmm.
ain't happening.
Right.
um it's more a case of just listening to the body. Obviously there's some things and obligations that you cannot get out of,
Right.
but I just make sure. So like I know set in my head that if I know I have to sing,
Mm,
there's no way I'm staying up all night
mm,
to do anything. It doesn't
yeah,
matter what it is, it's just not happening because with
right.
your voice, if you don't
Yeah,
have the sleep,
yeah,
it just doesn't matter. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but with like other bits and pieces, it just kind of depends. Like I might have something that I need to write up and be like, okay, cool. I know if I do this all night, I can sacrifice 4 hours the next day to just sleep and do nothing. You
Yeah.
know, it's just
Okay.
planning and the timing and listening to your body. And obviously, there's going to be times when you just cannot do it, and you're like, well, sorry, guys.
Mm, I hear that. Um, so you had the opportunity to perform at Abbey Road Studios this year, innit?
Yes.
How did that happen? Spill all the tea. Because I saw it and I was like, yo, Abbey Road Studios, that doesn't happen to, and for a soca artist as well? No, you need to
I
spill, girl.
know.
Spill.
Oh my God. So Abbey Road, basically, obviously we all know COVID is happening right now.
Yeah,
Notting Hill Carnival was cancelled.
right.
So the Notting Hill Carnival committee decided that they wanted to put on a virtual carnival.
Yeah,
And performing at Abbey Road was literally just a part of that.
right.
The budget was set really high. They had a
Hmm.
really big budget. They
Okay.
picked artists and whatnot.
Yeah.
And when they initially came and approached us and was like kind of asking us like, where would you like to perform and stuff? And
Hmm.
obviously a lot of people was like, oh, the Tabernacle or here, there, and everywhere. Like
Yeah,
people was just saying, I guess places that they knew of or thought
right.
was attainable.
Yeah.
And then there was like a few of us that was like Abbey Road.
Mm,
Because when I said it at first, everyone was like, why? And I was like, yo, guys, it's Abbey Road. Like, if the budget is set as high as they say, it's like, it should
yeah.
be no problem. You know what I
True.
mean? And I submitted it and it came true and they done it like that. It was amazing. It was an amazing experience. The place is amazing.
Mm.
Um, and I recorded and actually from that recording won me the UK Groovy Soca Monarch for this year, actually, from that
Ah,
recording.
congratulations. Another round of
Thank
applause.
you.
Woohoo! That is amazing. So, do you have any projects that are coming out like end of the year or next year?
I have loads actually. So I've been working on loads of music. I
Yeah.
have a project that's gonna drop this month.
Okay.
Hopefully, the second to last week of this month.
Okay.
I've got a date set in my mind, but
Yeah.
obviously for music, whilst they would already know, like you have to submit your song and wait to see how it if you pick up the date that you want, basically. Because when you're
Yeah.
when you're an independent artist, you kind of have to like pitch for the date that you want to release.
Yeah. Mhm.
If you're with a label, the label would just straight
Set it
come
for
and
you.
trump and say, yeah. So I have something that's going to be coming out this month, and
Right.
then hopefully again something in December. I've just been working a lot this year on
Mm.
recording because with the absence of like touring and live performance,
Yeah.
and carnivals, there's nothing else really
Yeah.
for us to do. Like, you know what I
For real.
mean?
Yeah.
But I'm happy for the time, because
Mm.
I don't really have enough time to like sit down and create. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
having to do a lot of carnivals and like people love. Like obviously us artists we love to go to carnivals,
Yeah.
etc. But it's bittersweet because as much as we go to carnivals, it's
Mm.
like we get to experience what is popping, but
Mm-hmm.
also you get consumed by what's
Yeah.
popping. So like
Yeah.
I don't know if you realize, like a lot of people realize that once Trinidad kind of sets the pace in the beginning of the year, a lot of music
Yes.
comes out that sounds a lot like what was
Yeah.
out.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that's because us as artists, like we go to carnivals to work, we go to perform and go out and we lime and things like we take in the scenery,
Mm.
but taking that in also it consumes our mind.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very different because when I was younger, when I first started soca, like in 2008,
Yeah.
obviously I wasn't traveling as much as I am now, but
Okay.
it gave me time to not be consumed because like before when I used to write, I never used to listen to anything. But like
Mm.
now, you don't have no choice. Like if I
Mm.
go to Miami and I want to try and write something, like it's really, really hard
Yeah.
to say, I'm not gonna think about anything. Like you could just be in studio listening to a beat, you will start singing a melody and you won't even realize that is a melody of a song that you
You've
heard
already heard.
like two
Yeah.
nights ago. Like,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
to you, it would be like, oh, I like this melody, but subconsciously you've heard it so many times.
Mm-hmm.
So not traveling this year I feel like is very refreshing, giving me a chance to like sit down and really like come up with different things.
Mm. That's a very interesting perspective, and I'm sure quite a few other soca artists must feel the same way. A
Mm,
time to rest, a time to recruit.
mm,
Obviously, that, and I've noticed that there's not been much releases this year as well. Obviously, because Carnival is
mm.
when the songs are promoted the most, and that's when DJs all over the place promoting it in various
Yeah,
mixtapes and that kind of thing. So it must be a double-edged sword.
it's kind of been like a catch-22 because, like, obviously, loads of people are like, "Oh, this is the time, guys, to
Yeah,
say that soca's not seasonal." Blah 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 blah.
yeah,
I say yes, I get it, but on the flip side, if we believe that soca wasn't seasonal all the years ago, like we would have just been releasing regardless. Like, do you know what I mean?
exactly.
So, like,
Yeah,
what's the difference now?
right.
And like, secondly, I know that people are like pushing for people to release, but people need to understand that soca artists are still people. A
Yeah,
lot of artists may have lost their jobs. A
yep,
lot of artists are not traveling and not
yeah,
touring, therefore
yeah,
they're not having any income. And to create music, you have to spend money. You have to spend money on
definitely.
studio time. You have to
Yep,
spend money on, you know, getting your producers, getting the
yeah,
mix, getting the masters. If you're having backing vocals, you have to look out for that. If you're
yeah,
having a feature, there's so many things. And then don't even start about the release. Like, you have to
yeah,
pay to get your song on those streaming platforms. You have to have a video.
exactly.
You might need a lyric video.
Yeah,
You might need paid promotion. So like, telling artists, yeah, go ahead and release is like cool, cool, cool. But if they don't have the money to do it, it's like impossible. And
yeah,
a lot of artists depend on performances for
yeah,
money.
yeah,
With streaming, you get paid at the end of the year, and the end of the year is not for that year, it's for the year before. So if you didn't have a good
mm,
year last year, you ain't really gonna reap this year. You know
yeah,
what I mean? So it's like it's a catch-22. Like, if you could do it and it's not, if it's not too like financially draining, then like,
yeah,
yeah, I'll be telling everyone to release my music. But obviously, money is a thing and work is a thing. Like, you can't tell people to take up their last $10 to go and record something if they don't know if that $10 is gonna come back. Like, a lot of
right.
artists need to be responsible.
Yeah,
And that's probably why, I mean, I don't know, but to me, when I look at what's happening,
yeah,
I understand that's why a lot of artists are pivoting and doing more like live Instagram shows, or,
yeah,
you know, doing albums of, like, even Kes. All right, so Kes, he, I know Kes probably got enough money, but he decided that he was going to do an album that had heavily a lot of the songs that we knew
you,
before, but
yeah,
it was just
exactly.
presented in a
A
whole
live
different way.
interpretation, exactly.
Do you
Yeah,
know what I mean? So
yeah,
like, there's ways to do things, but I don't know. But I guess the fans have got into this whole notion of fast paced, you know, everything
mm,
is fast. By the time that you have a song, you feel like you need to have another one.
yeah,
And that's just the industry right now. Like, by the time you release a song today, everybody's like, okay, cool, what's next? When,
yeah,
take like 10 years ago, an artist used to release one song and
yeah,
another song might not have come out until like maybe 8 to 16 weeks after. But
exactly.
now it's like, you need a song now, and next 4 weeks you need another one, and the next,
Yeah,
like, there's no live time for the song right now.
yeah,
So
yeah. I definitely agree. The industry has
mm,
really, consumerism has become really, really fast. You don't have time to catch your breath
mm, yeah.
anymore.
Mm.
So where can we find you on socials?
So I'm on everything. You find me mostly on Instagram. I live
Right.
mostly on Instagram. I have Facebook, Twitter
Yeah.
is all at Mr. Zaya Artist. Everything's at Mr. Zaya Artist.
Okay.
Um, Even YouTube. So Spotify is just Mr. Zaya.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can find me on all socials, all streaming sites, on YouTube, everywhere and anywhere you will find me.
Okay. Great. So is it Miss Desire Artist, as in, is there an underscore or anything like that?
No, it's all one word, Mr. Zaya Artist, all
Right.
lowercase.
Okay. Great stuff. Well, Miss Desire, it's been wonderful speaking with you.
Oh, thank you. It was great speaking with you. Thank you for having
No problem at all.
me.
Have a good rest of the day.
You too. Bye.
Bye. And that is the end of episode 5. Thank you, Miss Desire, for such a lovely interview. Hope you enjoyed yourself and you had a nice little dance. As always, you can follow me on Twitter, Miss Jojo B, MZJOJOB, and you can follow That's My Tune in the following ways: That's My Tune Pod on Twitter, That's My Tune Podcast on Instagram, and email That's My Tune Podcast at gmail.com. I'll be back next week with another episode. Until then, have a great day and have a great rest of the week. Bye.